else's opinion about a race and treating everybody within that race as if they fall within that conviction. Not treating individuals as individuals, not judging individuals through their actions, as opposed to, right, judging individuals by what someone else told you, so that you don't have to add that extra layer of thinking and investigation when it comes to you dealing with people and you reacting to people. So you have to learn that, right? And I finish off with saying, answer this question honestly, right? And because I really, really, when I wrote my mentor manifesto, I want everyone to think deeply. Because when you begin to think deeply, that is when you begin to change your life. That is when you begin to make changes in your life that matter. So I tell people to answer this question to themselves honestly in order to free, themselves from the grasp of having a conviction that you're doing what everybody else tells you to do, and not, but following the masses when it comes to just judging people. You know, um, and it's difficult, right? It is difficult, in the different fields. But when it comes to relationships, guys, when it comes to building relationships with people, um, it happens in all races, right? It happens in all people, right? All people, or the majority of people, I'd like to say, make assumptions about people based on their race, right? Based on what they see, and based on what they hear. They don't do no serious investigation about people's lives or a particular individual or their upbringing or what they came up from, right? I had somebody before, you know, say, ask me, was I from down south? I said that I sound southern, you know, was my parents from, down south, Georgia, Virginia, and I told them no, and they think they're making nice conversation, but what they're doing is they're leading with assumptions, right? So when you lead a conversation with assumptions, what happens is you kind of block the path of learning, right? When you lead with assumptions, you block the path of learning, because you can't truly learn from an individual if you are always talking, right? If you're always talking and leading with assumptions, and while that individual is talking, you are waiting to tell them what you heard last, or what you think next, or why this or why that, um, you're not going to learn from that individual. Most of the time, if you lead with assumptions, that individual is probably going to shut down when it comes to allowing you to learn more about them, or about their particular race, or about their particular culture, or about who they are, right? Because what I found out, right, is yes, people have a culture that they believe in, a culture that they follow, a culture that they were raised in, and they have the norms of that culture, of the things, of how they cook food, or how they dress, or how they talk, or how they celebrate. So they have those things involved in the culture, right? But that that's only a part of what makes up an individual, guys. That is only part of what makes up an individual. Our, our brains and our minds, right, and our personalities and our emotions, okay, are multicultural, right? Because in life, we pull from everything, right? We pull from different cultures. We pull from things we see on television. We pull from people we interact with. We pull from our friends, from our relationships. So everybody is multicultural when it comes to them developing themselves as an individual, and that is what people need to learn how to understand, right? That you just can't take an individual, put them in a box with a bunch of other individuals who are the same color, or the same race, or from the same region, or whatever, and then assume that everyone within that box is going to act the same way and do the same things and have some of the same likes and the same interests. You can't do that. Life does not operate like that. Life does not operate in a box. And when you begin to step outside of that box and begin to question and learn and speak with people, then you will truly learn how to develop enriching relationships with all races and begin to develop yourself. Because I tell you guys this, once you begin to take in other cultures and understand other cultures, you will then see the beauty in life, right? You will then probably wake up extremely happy each and every day because your life is enriched with so much to appreciate that that you begin to just know how to talk to this person because you appreciate what they brought to the table, and then and throughout your day you talk to another person because of what they bring to the table, and that is how you begin to develop good relationships in life. That is how you begin to communicate, really truly communicate with people. um, you have to allow people to talk. You have to allow people to express themselves. You have to understand, you know, uh, that maybe if somebody talks loud, they're not necessarily being violent, right? They're just expressing themselves in a different manner than what you're used to in your environment. And so this all falls back on my assessment of seek first to understand and then be understood. And so I know when I say this in law enforcement, it is very, very difficult for you guys to do this, to seek to understand, but first be understood. But in law enforcement, it is called doing your homework, guys. It is called doing your homework. Your homework does not end when you walk across the stage at the academy. It is not end there. This is the beginning of your homework, right? This is the beginning of you learning about people. When you start to learn about people, now you can do your job so efficiently, right? That a lot of things can be avoided by just sheer communication. Communication is power, guys. Communication is key to any business in the world, but it is definitely truly important in the world of law enforcement. So I ask you guys to seek first to understand and then be understood. And you have to be so much better at it than everybody else, right? Your reaction time has to be in split seconds, right? So you need to, in split seconds, be able to communicate with somebody, pull out the proper information that you need, make the determination of a threat, okay, and either stand up or stand down. And it's so important. And so I hear people always talking about law enforcement and reactionary time and what they need to do. And the problem is that they need more reps and sets. They need more reps and sets, situational reps and sets to get them better at what they're doing, right? Once you begin to get better at what you're doing, once you begin to learn the true communication of people and cultures, right, and not throwing everybody in that one basket, then you will begin to learn how to do your job at the highest level. And that is what is asked of me when I was in law enforcement, and that is what is asked of any of you guys out here in law enforcement. You have to operate at an extremely high level, higher than anybody you know and anybody you are around. That's right. That's how high a level you have to operate. That probably most likely the people that you are around are not going to operate at this level, and you have to take it to the next level. You have to turn it up. You have to set the bar so high that the bell curve pulls everybody else up. So, listen, that is what I'm talking about today, man. I'm talking about that today.